First, though, last week, of course, we learned that Canada lost its 18th Prime Minister, the Right Honourable Brian Mulroney. Since then, tributes from across the country and around the world have been pouring in. And this morning, we're going to take a look at Brian Mulroney through the most personal of lenses as a family man and a father. Joining us now is Brian's son and 640 Toronto's Ben Mulroney. Ben, we really appreciate you coming on. Good to see you. Our condolences first off. How are you doing? There's nothing, I can speak from experience. I lost my father way too early. There's nothing like losing your dad. How are you feeling? How's the family doing?
We're having a tough go, but according to those who know, according to those who have lost loved ones like this before, we're going through what everyone goes through, which is, you're okay until you're not okay. You're fine until somebody says something, and then you're right back in that moment. So by all accounts, we're dealing with it as everyone does, but we're doing so as a family, and I know that that my dad is smiling from on high, knowing that we're together.
Ben, we've heard from so many about what your dad brought to the role as Prime Minister, and that's how most of us know him, of course, and his legacy. How do you look back at your dad's life?
Oh, that's a good question. I've been really, my heart's been warmed by. Well, there's certain things that we've expected, right? I expected that there would be an outpouring of respect for his contributions as a politician. But I've been really, really happy, and my heart has been warmed by the personal stories that people have been sharing, some of which I knew about, and others were a complete surprise to me. And it's been really lovely to learn that the kindness of my father, that we as a family knew so well, that he shared that with others beyond the family. And so the fact that that is a part of the story that I wake up to every day, that I see on my social media feeds, that I get in texts and emails and phone calls, that's been really wonderful for us as a family to see that those personal stories of his kindness and his warmth and his humor, they weren't the exclusive domain of us, the people who loved him most, but he shared that with so many others.
And Ben, Carolyn and I both have remarked on the news of your father's passing that I don't think there's too many people that loved Canada more. He was such a great champion for this country. And just wondering if you could maybe pull back the curtain a little bit for all of us. And how did he juggle, the role of Prime Minister and the responsibilities of being the leader of this country and politics and being there for the family?
Well, I think that as kids, when we were growing up, I think it's less about being with your kids every day in and day out, and more about picking your spots and making sure that even when you aren't present in the house, you are a presence in your children's lives. And I've said before, if you looked at my dad's travel schedule, you would have assumed that he was an absentee father, but that couldn't have been farther from the truth. None of us ever felt like my father wasn't there for us. We never felt. The memories that I have are memories of him being a constant presence in my life, a constant presence. Sometimes too much of a presence. You would hope, yeah, every kid would hope that you could get away with a few things every now and then. That was never the case in our family. He knew the good, the bad, and the ugly, and let us know. He always let us know that he was proud of us and that he loved us. And the older we got, the more we wanted to spend time with him. I don't think a day went by over the past at least year that I didn't talk to him at least once. I know that my brothers and sister talked to him regularly, multiple times a day. And he was always there to pick up the phone. If he didn't pick up the phone, he called you back in about 30 seconds. And that was a testament to the priorities that he had. We were always his priority, and nothing, as much as he loved Canada, and as you said, Jeff, very few could claim a love like his. As much as he loved Canada, he loved us more.
100%, and so proud of his family. So proud of you, Ben. We know that he was an avid watcher of your work. What did that support mean to you? And I know as for all of us, when you talk about, yes, as a parent, it could be, okay, do you have to critique my work all the time?
It wasn't just the work he was always very proud of. It was the suits I would wear or my haircut that he would have something to say about. But I'll tell you something very funny, and your executive producer Morley will remember this. But my very first job in television was on a very small cable show called Talk TV, and because I was the new guy on the show, moving to Toronto, I was given the last crack at choosing my segments, and I was in charge of hosting a segment on Friday evenings about pet psychics. That was my first job in TV. Thank you, Morley. And Talk TV was not available in Quebec, so my parents got themselves a Bell satellite dish that allowed them to watch it. And it was a phone-in show. And I can tell you that on more than one occasion, my youngest brother, Nick, would call in pretending to have a dead pet. And I would know it was him. And I knew it was him for a couple of reasons. Because I recognized his voice, and I could hear my father chuckling in the background. And I had to sit there quietly as the pet psychic was giving me a reading on a non-existent pet. And when the show was over, my dad would call me saying that was the most fun he had all week.
That is great. Ben, what is maybe the greatest lesson as you look back and you reflect on your dad and his life? What is the greatest lesson that he taught you?
Oh, there's a lot. Never stop learning. There's always something. There's always something to learn. He would say. He would tell me, speak 50% less and listen 50% more. He said, "Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to speak slowly. Be kind. Tell your mother you love her. And above all else, keep your family close."
I'm chuckling at that advice because it's the same advice my father gave me, Ben. You've got 2 ears, 1 mouth. Use these twice as much. Yes.
I would tell him it's very hard. It's very hard to do that when you're a host on TV and now on radio. But I do my best to live by it as much as I can.
Yeah. Well, listen, Ben, it goes without saying our sincerest condolences to you and your family, all of your family members, particularly your mom, Mila, we're thinking of. And thank you so much for spending a few moments with us here on a TMS to remember your late father. Appreciate it.
Well, I appreciate you both very much. Thank you so much.